Shalom, shalom. Giving honor to the creator of heaven and earth. Want to go over this, not going to be long. Want to go over verb and noun. Let us look at this, brothers and sisters. We have the word here, hora or hore. Now, in this particular case, we're dealing with it as a verb. All right? Hore, in this case, in the he filled stem, which in root means to teach. Okay. All right. So then we have this word here, more. The word more means teacher. So what do we see so far? The verb and then the noun with the prefix of it with the mem there. This is a male teacher. Then we have this word here, and we can say it also as hore. Now, in this case, we're not dealing with it as a verb, but as a noun, and this means parent, a male parent. Now, we have this word here, okay, and we have it as mora. The word mora, meaning teacher, a female teacher. All right. Then we have here the word hora. Okay. Hora, meaning female parent. So what do we see so far? Hore in root, meaning to teach, the verb. More, a teacher, a male one that is. Hore, in this case treated as a noun, the male parent. Then we have mora, meaning female teacher or a teacher that's a female. Then we have hora, a parent that's a female. And we have here the word Torah, generally said as law, but the word Torah really means teaching or instruction. For instance, when you read in the book of Proverbs, and it says, forsake not the teaching of thy mother, all right? Al tishkat torat imerka. Forsake not the teaching of thy mother. So we just want to point that out. So we have a teacher, a male parent, a female teacher, a female parent. So what do we get out of this? The teachers are parents, and most definitely the parents are teachers. And what are they supposed to teach? The instructions. So just want to show how the Hebrew works in this particular case. All right, you can see that the O and the R sound is still there. The O and the R sound is still there. You may have a change with the mem or the tau or in root with the hey, but the general premise of the sound is still there. Unlike English, when teaching and instruction, those words do not sound alike. Whereas teacher and parent in English does not sound alike in root, all right, linguistically. So just want to point that out. Hebrew is easy. Get the book on Amazon. Shalom.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Welcome to Danite Publications. We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better. This is your brother and friend, Yeshaya Israel. What you saw in that intro was regarding how the word to teach in Hebrew and root is there, and how it's linguistically connected to the Hebrew word for parent, which is linguistically connected to the Hebrew word for teacher. So we know that a verb is an action word, brothers and sisters. And we know a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And so, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, we want to sit there and bring this presentation to a little over a week that we were intending on doing this. We ask you all to comment, to like, and to share. We ask you to, brothers and sisters, to read the description and screenshots for those who are interested. It is welcomed. All right. The purpose in this particular presentation is to get into the Hebrew of the scriptures itself If you look, for instance, on the platform, asking you to subscribe to it, More Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, going all the way back to 2018 and so forth and so on. We have it to where it started with the aleph and the bet, the alphabet, and then the putting together of the alphabet with the vowels, and then putting that together along with grammar, and then putting that together along with vocabulary, and then putting that together along with matter of understanding and a common use of words that you use in any language you speak. When you want to learn Hebrew, you want to use those vocabulary words first. Let me give you an example. If you are a painter, you may want to learn the word for red, black, silver, gold, gray, green, etc. Those are words you may want to learn first because it's going to apply to you and what you're talking about. If you are a cleaner, you may want to know the word for to clean, pine, soap, dish, detergent, and so forth and so on. Those things there and what you do, brothers and sisters, those things there may sit there and come to you quicker and understanding. So, not sure how many people are online, but if you are online and if you're in good spirits and if you can hear me well, please press the number 4. If you can hear me well and you are online and you hear me well, please press the number 4. We are live today, August 8th. Time now is between 15 to 20 minutes after 12 p.m. So there are a lot of other classes, a lot of other services going on today, the Shabbat. You understand, but you're here and you're welcome to be here in that particular case. All right. So let us get into this particular matter, if we will. Thank you for such. I see, if I'm looking correctly, this says Tovi Mikel, and somebody pressed the letter Dalit. And then prior to that, we have Raymond Draft. Thank you for typing in the number 4. All right. Thank you for that, family. I try to be a stickler for what it means as far as it goes with the matter of the audio. All right. So please keep me posted upon that if you're interested in listening. Now, what we're talking about, brothers and sisters, is going to be one sentence in Hebrew. We want to point out the prefixes, the suffixes, the root of the words, sentence structure, and grammar. Most of the Hebrew that we teach on Day Night Publications is biblical Hebrew, brothers and sisters. So with that being the case, no offense, you may not see many of the shell, like Yad Sheli, for my hand. On this platform, we will say it as Yadi. All right. So that's something we care to bring out for reference purposes. All right. Thank you for that. Let us, without any further ado, pull this up, do the share screen, if we will. Right. Thank you for that. We see here Proverbs chapter 8, Day and Night Publication. Subscribe. Shalom, Yom Sas. Welcome to Day and Night Publications. In this presentation, we will speak on a matter of the Hebrew of Proverbs chapter 1, verse 8. We ask you all to comment, like, and share. Please read the description, meaning the description in the video. Thank you for that, family. Proverbs 1, verse 8. Hear, my son, the instruction of your father, and forsake not the teaching of thy mother. Now, let's look at it in Hebrew, and let's see what it says. Let's remember, Hebrew is always read from right to left. Shema beni musar abika wa al titosh torat imeka. So what are we seeing? Shema beni, which means hear, my son. Now, this Shema that you see there is the command form, all right, called the imperative. In many cases, beni is showing a possession. the word bain means son, as in your child. So when you're saying son as in the one in the sky, we're talking about the word hama. But in this one here, we see the word beni, meaning my son. Musar, which means instruction or reproof, brothers and sisters. All right. Abika, your father. Ab meaning father. This ka that you see at the end here, remember in Hebrew goes from right to left. Let me circle what I'm talking about, because we said we want to talk about the prefixes and the suffixes and so forth and so on. So when we look at this here and see what's being circled there, that ka at the end of that word, brothers and sisters, signifies your whatever that word is. Anytime ka is there as a suffix, if the word is a noun, like a person, place, or thing, it means your. Anytime ka is at the end of a verb, it means you. So ab meaning father, abi meaning like father of, abika, father of yours or your father. All right. Any questions? Please feel free to put it into the chat. All right. We are on the platforms More Yeshaya Torah lessons and More Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. All right. So let's say instead of the word abika, the word was shamartika, which is a verb. Shamarti means I watched. Shamartika means I watched you. All right. So again, anytime ka is as a suffix in the word, brothers and sisters, it serves as saying your. In the verb, it's you, you. And in the noun, it's your. Sorry. All right. Well, altitos torati meaka. Now let's look, family, in this case here. Right? We want to go back, if we will, to the laser pointer. Well, al titosh, and do not forsake. Now, lo means no or not. This al that we see right here, seen also in Leviticus chapter 19, it means do not. This only works when you put this word with the future tense. You will not use al, meaning do not, for the past tense, or al, meaning do not, for the present tense. Only in the future tense would you say al tiga, do not touch. Lo tiga means you will not touch. Lo titosh means you will not forsake. Al titos means do not forsake. But again, this al, meaning such, with the aleph and the lamed, only works when the next word is in, say, future tense. Torat imerka, the law of. Torah means instruction. All right? And it comes from the root word Torah, which means instruction, which comes from the root word that you saw in the beginning in the brief commercial as an intro of this, means instruction or teaching. The word law itself, L-A-W, the word statute is the same word, which exactly is the word kop, which is a chet and a kuf. So I want to point that out. So we have Torat, the law of or the instruction of, Imerka. Now, brothers and sisters, like Abika, brothers and sisters, Imerka ends with the kaf sofi in that particular case. Being that Ima is a mother, and that's a noun, that ka at the end represents your whatever. All right, whatever that particular word is. All right, thank you for that. Let us, family, continue in this particular case. All right. This should come back up. Thank you. Shema Beni. Now let's write some stuff about this in real time as was set up for such, right? And let's see what we can ascertain in this. All right. Thank you for that, family. Shema Beni. Now let's look. The vowel that you see, brothers and sisters, with the sheen, if we were to say bold, not bold, bold, not bold, right? If we drop color that, brothers and sisters, in yellow, and if you were to drop color that bet with also with a shawa in the yellow, let's see what we see. It means essentially, brothers and sisters, that shawa, you just make the sound of the word or the letter, sorry. So Shema Beni. All right, we want to add this to the dictionary. Hear, my son. Pay attention, my son. Listen, my son. Understand, my son. This ni at the end, brothers and sisters, right? If we were to drop color that, well, the yod serve in there as a suffix, right? We would see, okay, I hope this works with me. And we're going to change this one again to yellow. That bet with the, and we want to enlarge that afterward as well. All right, let's enlarge this. Thank you for the time, family. All right. So let's look. Okay, it's not wanting to work with me on that at the moment. There we go. Now, what you see highlighted or drop colored, sorry, in the yellow are the two letters at the beginning of each word, starting with the shawa as a vowel. You will not see a shawa with the first and second letter of any word. You may see it with the first and the third or the second and the third, but never the first and the second. So let's write that down as a rule. There is never a shawa with the first and second letter of any Hebrew word. All right. So again, you may see it with the second and the third, Malakaka, your king, or you might see it with the first and the third, or the first and the fourth, or even the third and the fourth, but never the first and the second in. Okay. So just want to point that out in that particular regard. Now, what you're seeing in green, the yod serves as a suffix, meaning essentially possession of. It doesn't literally mean that, but what that does is show. Let me see. Let me not put mean. Let me say showing. All right. With the suffix showing possession, meaning in this case, my. So because the initial word of that is the word bain, meaning son, Beni becomes my son. See, on this platform, no offense, we would say Beni for my son as opposed to Ben Shali, which is nothing wrong with Ben Shali, but you don't really find that in the scriptures. Most of the conversation we teach in Hebrew on this platform is biblical Hebrew. So we care to bring that out for reference purposes. All right. So here, my son, understand, my son, listen, my son, is what this two words here are saying. Shema Beni. All right. Let me see if there's any questions or comments. Nope. So let us continue, brothers and sisters, in this. We have here the word musar abika. All right. Now, brothers and sisters, the word musar means essentially reproof. All right. So let's look. If we were to go in the scriptures, right? If we go to Isaiah chapter 8 to let the book speak, all right? Let's go to chapter 8, Isaiah chapter 8, and we want to read in verse 11. And here, brothers and sisters, is what it says. All right, in this particular case. Sorry with the back and forth with the chapters. For Yah spoke thus to me with a strong hand, admonishing me that I should not walk in the way of this people, saying, now in verse 11 of Isaiah 8, verse 11, we see in the Hebrew, Ki ko amal yodewahe elai. Kakes kwat hayad. Wa yisreni maleket. Bederek ha'am hazeh lemor. So the key word in this case we want to focus on is this word here. So if we look at this, right, and then put it, if we will, in here, let us expound upon this, thanking the people for their time to join us. Wayis reni. Now let's look at this and color code this, family. All right. The root of this word we see here is the word yasar. All right. Bold, not bold, bold, not bold. So if we were to drop color that one in the yellow, we must get the yod as well. And let me explain what happens. Any verb, brothers and sisters, that has yod, as in the word yasar, as we see here, yashab, as we've gone over, you will notice that when it's conjugated inside of the future tense, the yod drops off. All right. So just want to point that out. Any any verb that starts with the letter yod, brothers and sisters, is called a pay yod verb. Now let's look. In Isaiah, as we were reading, chapter 8, verse 11, right? It says, for Yah spoke thus to me with a strong hand, admonishing me. Now, the part where it says admonishing, brothers and sisters, is in the word yasar. From brothers and sisters, the word yasar, the yod drops out in a matter, brothers and sisters, of, let me see how this works. The yod drops out, all right, in a matter of that. Okay. We want to show it. Let's erase it at the moment. The yod drops out there, right? We won't put it back. And then we still have the samek and the resh, right? Now let's look at that right there. The samek and the resh, brothers and sisters, let's erase that. Okay. We have if we will, the word sor in this particular case. Now let's remember, brothers and sisters, yasar is the word. So now what happens in certain cases that we see in the scriptures is the yod that we saw drops out, and then we are left with a mem. A mem is used in many cases, that's pointed out in the past, to make a verb into a noun or even a verb into an adjective. All right. So just want to point that out. So now when we go back, brothers and sisters, into the scriptures, right? And we see this here, Wayisreni, right? Copy, pull this back up. I want to show this in real time as much as possible. Any questions, please let me know. Yasar is the word there. And that is the root of how you get the word musar. All right? Musar, brothers and sisters, ending with the resh r sound, that means, as we have pointed out, all right, already, to give reproof or correction in that particular case. Any questions, please feel free to ask. All right? Now, the word yasar by itself, all right, we want to emphasize this and going over how the Hebrew works in this particular case, right? Let's look. Thank you for that time, family, in that particular case, right? Now, let's just at the moment get rid of this ni for a reason. All right? The word yasar, we want to say in real time, a verb, a pay yod verb. What happens is that when it's conjugated in the future tense, the yod drops out. This is the word shown in the past tense. All right. So now what's happening, brothers and sisters, is even though it says admonishing as if it's in the present tense, it's more so, brothers and sisters, in the past tense, but with this wow consecutive, with the prefix of the wow, we see here, if we were to, all right, drop that in the green, that wow makes this past tense word into, say, the future tense, has been explained last week and other platforms and so forth. So I just wanted to show the explanation because the elders in the family say I shouldn't use the word breakdown. So I wanted to show the expounding upon it or the explanation of how we get from yasar to musar and the function of the yod when it serves as being a quote unquote irregular verb in the past tense, in the future tense, the while consecutive, making the future tense a past tense word and making a past tense word into the future tense. All right. So just want to, brothers and sisters, show that in that particular case. No mistranslation. Now, let's look at this. Wa'al titosh, right? Now, we've already explained that whole al situation, right? You have lo, meaning no or not, and then you got al, essentially meaning do not. But this al only works, brothers and sisters, when you're dealing with the future tense. You wouldn't put that when it's conjugated in the present or the past. All right. So let's look and see what we're seeing with that next word there in that particular case. All right. Let's go, if we will, to Isaiah chapter 2, brothers and sisters, in verse 6. And let's see what we see in this particular matter. Thank you. You can be anywhere else, but you're here. All right. Isaiah 2, verse 6. For thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, for they are replenished from the east, and with soothsayers like the Philistines, and they please themselves in the brood of aliens. Now the Hebrew says, Ki natashta amka bet Yaakov. Now let's just, brothers and sisters, take this, if we will, right? And let's see what we can ascertain in this particular case. All right? We have here, right? Put this in Times New Roman, if we will, for the different font matter, and let's expound upon it. Ki we see here, brothers and sisters, remember Hebrew's easy. All right. We see here bold, not bold. Bold, not bold. This key, brothers and sisters, that we drop color that inside of the yellow. Okay. If we drop color that inside the yellow. Key means because or for or when. As we went over last time, you can go to Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons and look up Ki Tetzeh and Ki Tabo, brothers and sisters, in that particular case. Then we have here, brothers and sisters, that we drop color this in the blue. What do we see? And let's enlarge in, brothers and sisters, this word here. So this is the root, brothers and sisters, of Titosh. We've already explained the al matter, bold, not bold. So now, Titosh is a future tense word, which means you will forsake, you will abandon. The past tense of such is natashti, I forsook. Natashta, you forsook. All right. So what happens is this. In this word here, all right, let's put this at least in the English, al in real time. T, sorry. T tosh, right? Now, what happens with this, let's color code this for people's matter. All right, in the green. What are we able to see there, brothers and sisters? Titosh, written in Hebrew, written in English, to forsake. You will forsake. Now, what we're seeing in the blue is the past tense of such. And this is something we care to point out as far as getting into the linguistics matter, right? If we were to color code what we're talking about right now in purple, that noon, which happens to be my favorite letter, by the way, but that noon is the root first letter, natash. Natash in root means to forsake or to abandon. So what happens, like the yod, brothers and sisters, when you conjugate it, when yod is the first letter, it drops in the future tense. Same thing when a noon is the first letter. So let's make some notes upon this. All right. This is a pay noon verb. Now, any verb, brothers and sisters, that starts with the letter noon, as stated, is referred to as a pay noon verb. And part of its, quote, irregularity. And what happens in that particular matter is that when conjugated inside of the future tense, the noon drops out. That's why in the word titosh, the future tense of natash, inside of the second person masculine. What do we mean, second person masculine? You, whatever that verb is. I'm the first person, you're the second person, he's the third person, masculine. If I were female, I would be the first person female. You, if you're female, would be the second person female, and she, whoever she is, will be the third person female. All stated is in the singular. All right. So now what we're seeing, brothers and sisters, is as in the pay yod verb, when conjugated in the future tense, the yod drops out. Now, what happens with this noon when conjugated, brothers and sisters, inside of the future tense, right? I'm trying to show it with a cross line or a line, not a cross. We don't do that in Israel. But with the noon having been dropped off, we now see, brothers and sisters, titosh. All right? The titosh we see is this word here. Let us enlarge this. Brothers and sisters, again, any questions, please feel free to put within the chat. All right? Thank you for that. Any questions? Please feel free to put in the chat. Let's see if there's any questions or comments, brothers and sisters, upon this matter. Thank you for that, family. And there are none. So let us continue in this. All right. Let's explain what we're dealing with. Titosh, you will forsake, you will abandon, is a future tense word. Al titosh, you will not forsake. Pardon me. Al titosh, do not forsake, do not abandon. What al titosh means and don't abandon and don't forsake. Who's being spoken to? A male, Israel standing as a nation, brothers and sisters, second person masculine. All right. It comes again from the root word natash. Natash meaning to forsake. This is why when we read in Isaiah, brothers and sisters, chapter 2, in verse 6, for you have forsaken thy people, ki, because, or for, natashta, this noon, this tet, and this sheen, natash, all right, means you forsook, you abandoned. Now, sidebar, Natasha or Natasha by default can be said as a Hebrew word. The Natasha itself, when most females are named such, goes back to the Russian. You understand? However, the word Natasha in Hebraic understanding means he forsook her. He abandoned her. That's what that would mean in that case. But now if we are looking at it in this particular case, ki because Natashta. Let's look at this, family, right? This serving, we see bold, not bold, bold, not bold. We see this, brothers and sisters, if we jot color that in red, right? We see that to be you, whatever. In the matter of Hebrew, you know the past tense by the suffix. You know the future tense by the prefix. This tau that we see right here, brothers and sisters, bold, not bold, bold, not bold. If we were to show that in the red, just real quick, please pay attention, family. If we were to show this in the red, which is not working with me at the moment, if we were to show this red, black, red, black, that tile on the top there that we see, brothers and sisters, which we're going to enlarge, all right, that serves as a prefix for the future tense. We've explained, brothers and sisters, that the noon, when it is in the root, is called a pay noon verb, part of the irregularities of verbs. And when you conjugate this now in the future tense, the noon drops out. If there's any questions, please feel free to put within the chat. If there's any questions, again, please feel free to put within the chat. We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better, brothers and sisters. All right. What we're going to do now is take a matter of an intermission, and it is 12:50. We intend to be back before 1. So less than 10-minute break. All right. Thank you for that, family. Still feel free, nonetheless, if you care to ask questions in that manner. Thank you.
Shalom, shalom. Giving honor and praise to the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth. We want to go over the prefixes and the suffixes in Hebrew. The letter Aleph you see here serves as a prefix in the future tense with verbs. Next you see here the letter Bet. This serves as a prefix with nouns. Next we have here the letter Hey. This serves as a prefix with nouns, a prefix with verbs, and a suffix with nouns, and a suffix with verbs. So we just want to point that out. Next we have here the letter waw. This serves as a prefix with verbs and a prefix with nouns. Here we have the letter yod. This serves as a prefix with verbs and a suffix with nouns. Here we have the letter kaf. This serves as a prefix with nouns and a suffix with nouns. Here we have the letter lamed. Lamed serves as a prefix with verbs and a prefix with nouns. Here we have the letter mem. This serves as a prefix with nouns and a prefix with verbs and a suffix with nouns. Here we have the letter nun. This serves as a prefix with verbs. Here we have the letter shin. This serves as a prefix with nouns and a prefix with adjectives. Then we have the letter tau. This serves as a prefix with transforming from a verb to a noun, and it also serves as a suffix with nouns. So we just want to point that out with these 11 letters right here, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. This is part 1. As time goes on, I will explain each prefix in more detail, but just want to give, for part 1 of the prefix and suffix series, what we're talking about. Shalom.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please, again, asking you to press the number 4. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please ask you again to press the number 4. We are back, brothers and sisters, regarding this presentation about the Hebrew we see in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 8. All right. I can be reached at the number 908-587-4841. That again is 908-587-4841. All right. Without, brothers and sisters, any further ado, let us get into this particular matter. Thank you for that. Let us pull this up. Do a little bit of what we were doing already. A very quick review. We have Titosh. The noon drops out, like the yod drops out. Anytime noon is the first letter of a verb, it drops out when you conjugate it in the future tense. Not when the past tense, not when the present tense, but in the future tense. All right? Now, these verbs that we've been dealing with, for the most part, are in the qual stem. All right? So just want to point that out. When you're dealing with something that you see here in the red, all right, we want to enlarge this. I want to point something out, if we will, right? Don't let this hey that you see here, brothers and sisters, perhaps, quote, trip you up. All right? You will find sometimes in the second person conjugated, the tau next to the hey there, and sometimes not. All right? So it still means the same thing. All right? If we will, for reference purposes. Let us, if we will, family, continue in this. This is a paid noon verb. All right? Let's go on. Torat imerka. All right? Let's look at this, if we will. All right? Torat imerka means the law, teaching of your mother. Now, as we pointed out earlier, right? In Hebrew, let's us enlarge this here. right? Thank you for that, family. Right? And let us color code bold, not bold, bold, not bold. Let us color code that in the yellow. This ka that we want to emphasize on at the moment, brothers and sisters, means your, whatever the word is. Ima is mother. Imeka, your mother. Okay? So ka at the end of a noun means your, whatever that word is. So now, if it had been a verb, that ka would mean you and not your. All right, just want to point that out. Now, ka we see here is a suffix attached to the end of the word. All right. Torat imeka, the law of your mother, the instruction of your mother. Earlier in the presentation, went over the word hore and hora, more, mora, and torah, and the meaning of such in that particular case. All right. Sorry about that. When ka is a suffix with a verb, the ka means you, whatever that verb is. All right. So, for instance, the word your God in Hebrew is said as Eloheka. All right. And say that particular case. So now we've gone over Torah and its meaning, brothers and sisters. Let's look, if we will. All right. If we were to, brothers and sisters, I believe if we were to for out of Zion shall go forth the law, right? We have, I thought that was there. So we have here, we're going to take from Isaiah chapter 2, all right? The word Torah, we're going to put it inside of the PowerPoint here. And let's see what we can ascertain in this particular case. All right. Let's look. Torah. Ending in a hey letter. And here we have, brothers and sisters, showing in real time as much as possible. All right. Torat, ending in a tau, said by some as thou, shows the matter of possession of the word. All right. Now, this letter that we see right here, that we're going to show bold, not bold, bold, not bold. If we were to drop color that in the green, and if we were to, guess it won't let me do expand of 96. Okay, so let's expand it to 54. What you see there on the screen in the green, brothers and sisters, what happened is this hey letter, let's show this in this particular case, right? Times New Roman. This hey letter, brothers and sisters, shown in it. No, let's color code it red so it can stand out. All right. Let's do that. Give me 1 second, family. Yes, save. In that particular case, wanted to just do something real quick with this. We got Verse 8, if we will. I had to do that real quick because of something that happened with the pointer. But nonetheless, family, now if we are looking at this, right? Bold, not bold. And if we were to enlarge what we see there in the red, which made me go to 9, okay with 96 that time, right? That right, hey, turns into a tau when showing the possession. Torah, meaning law, in certain cases by people. Torah, more so meaning instruction, becomes Torat, which means instruction of. You see how Musar meant reproof, also means reproof of, because it ends with the letter Resh. Now, hey, being a feminine letter, when you show the possession of such, you wouldn't say Torah, you say Torat. And that's why we see Torah here as such, all right, shown if we were to do it this way, slideshow from this way, if we were to use the laser pointer, this hey becomes a tau, ending in tau. Torat, ending in a tau, shows the matter of possession of the word, meaning instruction of or law of. The of shows the possession, hand of mine, book of mine, etc. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. There is no mistranslation. Essentially, inside of that verse, we get the spiritual meaning of it as well. You don't put parents against each other. Well, Iman would say yes or Abba no. No, that's not what we do. You understand? In that particular case. So when we see brothers and sisters, also means not to be funny, Abba and Iman have to be there in order to give the instruction. But when we're looking, brothers and sisters, at this particular matter, going back to Proverbs, all right, chapter, pardon me, Proverbs 1, Hebrew, what do we see in this case here? 1 verse 8, hear, Shema, Beni, my son, Musar Abika, the instruction of your father, Wa'al Titosh, and forsake not Torat Emeka, the teaching or the instruction of your mother. So the instructions or the reproof and the teaching or the law of from your Abba, your father, and your Ima, your mother, is very important in the understanding of Israel. We respect our elders. We cherish them, our elders, brothers and sisters. In Israel, we don't wait until they die and then want to talk about we're going to raise up their spirit. No, you cherish them now. You record their teachings now. You put it in writing for the future generations now. Brothers and sisters, in that particular case, we don't do the seance. We go into the grave with the drink and then pouring libations to such and such. That's not what we do in the house of Israel. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out and show for reference purposes. Any questions or comments, we ask you, you can please put it into the chat, brothers and sisters. Again, here, we at Danite Publications, we ask you to check the description. We do not profess to know everything. And yes, family, we are open to constructive criticism. We are open to constructive criticism. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, we're going to close out, brothers and sisters, this particular presentation. Thank you for joining on now and or later. Asking you to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Check the description as well, please. Family, in that particular case. All righty. Let us, brothers and sisters, close out this particular matter. Thank you.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Not going to be long. Just want to make a video regarding the matter of the name that we say we are and can lay claim to, giving honor and praise to the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth, the Most High. This is the word here, Yisrael. Now, for those who say Hebrew has no vowels, they will say this is Yashara'Allah or Yashra'al or Yashara'al. You see it different ways said by those who say Hebrew has no vowels. And this is no disrespect intended, nonetheless, but Ah is a vowel. It's a sound. What a vowel is in actuality is a written sound. So if you were to say this is Yashara'Allah, you're still saying vowels with it, just saying it as Ah. All right, so we just want to point that out. Now, next thing to point out with this, brothers and sisters, when we're seeing Yisrael, this is the Yod, the Kirik, the Sin, the Shawar, the Resh with the Kwamat, and the Lamed with the Zareh. Now, let's look at this very carefully. This Yod that you see right here, right, making a Y sound, all right, serves as a prefix. So if you were to just say this here, the Sin and the Resh, right, it comes from the root word Sarah. The word Sarah in Hebrew means to contend, all right? So we want to point that out for reference purposes. So now this Yod serves as the third person, the third person masculine, singular, future tense. Why do we want to point out, brothers and sisters, the aspect of it saying in future tense is this? Because this word here, El, right? It comes from the root word ayil. The word ayil, brothers and sisters, means to have power or to be mighty or to have strength. So that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. So what are we saying, brothers and sisters, in this particular case? Is this Yod, all right, serving as a prefix, showing the future tense of this root word here, meaning as stated to contend. And this one here, El, translated loosely by saying God, speaking of the Creator. Yisrael would mean, brothers and sisters, El, the Creator, will contend. That's what that means in that particular case. So many times brothers and sisters would say that Yisrael means Prince of the Power. In spirituality, perhaps. But if you want to talk about the aspect of literal meaning, or if you want to talk about the aspect of linguistics, as opposed to just spiritual aspect on why Jacob was given that name, this is what we want to point out in that particular case. Now, as stated, this is not going to be long. Just wanted to point this out for reason and purposes and so forth and so on. All right. We want to emphasize, as has been pointed out in other videos, that Yisrael is not from Isis, Ra, and El. That's something that was purported by Masons and people of that kind of nature to try to throw people off from the truth of what it is. You understand? It is not from Isis, Ra, and El. Isis is not even an Egyptian god or goddess. That's a whole other subject. We're not going to get too far into that particular aspect. And brothers and sisters, El, we want to talk about a little bit, if we will. All right? Let's look at that. Many times people say that El was a Canaanite deity and then say that the Israelites adopted it. Saying El, brothers and sisters, is no different than saying the quote-unquote loose term in English, God. You understand? So if somebody said God in 1604 and then somebody said God in 2004, one did not borrow it. We have to just know and understand, brothers and sisters, what the speaker or author is talking and conveying. All right? So as pointed out, this word here, El, comes from the root word, all right, Ayil, which means to be mighty or to have strength. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 32, you read La'el Yadeka, meaning speaking about power in your hand. All right. Now, brothers and sisters, in the scriptures, before Ham came into existence, Ham is the father of Canaan, right? You had a person named Mahalalel, all right? And you have the word El in that man's name. So that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. You have Mahalalel. Mahalalel. All right, that's in the book of Genesis. All right, that was even before, brothers and sisters, Ham even came into existence, much less Canaan. So El, identifying power, mighty, so forth and so on, was already known among the people even before the Hamite dispensation came into the earth. All right, so we just want to point that out for reason and purposes. With that, shalom.